Hey everybody, it's me. Happy Monday. I mean Tuesday night. That's right, because tonight is a special Tuesday night episode of Chill and Chat with Michael B, because one of my Canadian brethren just absolutely can't make Mondays. We've been talking about doing this forever. I'm so excited to do this. So I've got a bunch of Canadian Arcade1Up fans. In fact, people I talk to pretty regularly in a group chat. Tonight, we're just going to meet up, hang out, tell you our experiences with Arcade1Up here north of the border, what we like about it, what we kind of don't like about it, has it improved over the last couple of years, and maybe some feedback and suggestion on how they can better engage us all the way up here in the Great White North. Anyways, sit back, relax, guys. Hope you enjoy tonight. I'm really looking forward to it. This is Chill and Chat with Michael B. Here we go. So many people on screen now. And Mario, you got in.
Hey
awesome.
Guys.
He made it.
Hey.
What happened to O'Toole? O'Toole's not going to make it, is he? Do we know
Missing
where
in
he
action.
is? He's missing in action.
We'll see what happens. Maybe he'll find some way in at some point.
I figured he'd be the first person here. At least I'm going to see him in Chicago, so I have that, but I was hoping to have him here with us. Anyways, I want to introduce everybody. So right here, this is the, I don't know what you would call them, the four horsemen of the Canadian Arcade1Up community. We got Carl Lafontaine, Conte Dinda, Mario Reno, and Steve Victoria, better known as Steve V's Man Cave Arcade. So thank you so much for being here with us tonight, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah, Michael, thanks.
Long time coming. I think we started talking about doing this maybe last year sometime.
Yeah. Maybe like a year and a half
It's been
ago.
discussed a few times.
Yeah.
It's like well laid plans, because Mario's always trying to get us to play online. No one ever
Yeah.
has time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I was
Michael,
actually-
Michael, are you going
Online.
to commit? Are you going to commit tonight, and have an online game with Mario? It has to happen, right?
Well, since I'm going to Chicago, and my daughter's first day at school is tomorrow, so I don't know. Maybe Mario. We'll see. We'll see how long we go here.
All good, man.
Yeah, it's funny. Like when we started that group chat, it was supposed to be more for like the online thing, like try to like plan something out so we could all kind of like play together. But we're always kind of like just scattered with time, and it's always hard to kind of like have the same available time to kind of play these games. So it's kind of become more of like a just talk about like news and kind of check in with each other, kind of share some of the stuff when we find things out. Like that's more what this group has become now, is like kind of just checking in with each other and kind of sharing news
I thought
We're
we
all
just
bad
all shared
influences on
deals.
each other too.
and
Yeah.
deals as well.
Oh yeah, deals.
Conti specifically with the deals.
Yeah.
And we need deals in Canada.
There he is.
Oh,
Hey.
O'Toole's there.
How are
You
you?
made
Welcome.
Yeah, I made it. Sorry, I was running a bit late,
We thought you got lost at Walmart.
No, I didn't get lost at Walmart. I just had to get ready and stuff. So, yeah, I think I'm kind of ready for Chicago, maybe.
I'm not even remotely ready.
Yeah, I'm
Even
not
close.
that bad.
I'm just a teeny bit jealous.
You guys should have
Yeah.
came.
Same.
Yeah.
If you
Next time.
If you had booked,
Yeah.
like honestly, I couldn't believe the flight. Like I think I told you guys about it. My return flight to Newfoundland, which is usually $700 just to get off the island, was $350 US. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's the only reason I'm going.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's a great deal.
At least that's what you
Yeah.
told your wife, anyway. It's the only reason I'm going.
My deal was actually pretty cheap too. So I think it was around $600 or so. So overall, it wasn't super bad.
600 Canadian.
Canadian, yeah, everything.
Yeah,
Canadian.
That works out to about where we are. Anyways, guys, I want to give a chance to do kind of a round table on this. So I don't know if you guys remember, but a couple of years ago, I made a video, said Arcade1Up in Canada, and I put the big thumbs down there, and I said it wasn't really about price so much. It's about us being able to get what they had available. I think all of us have been fans for a long time. We remember when Wave 2 of Arcade1Up came out, we didn't even get Wave 2 here. I think the only way you could get it was through London Drugs. They got Final Fight. I don't even know if they got Mortal Kombat.
That's how I got my Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
We
through
got
London
many
Drugs.
risers
I
from
remember
London
that.
Drugs.
Yeah. But
That's
they were
how I got my more couple of things too. Sorry, Mike.
Yeah.
Go.
Oh no worries at all. But that was the only retailer that was really providing stuff. And I mean, what an obscure retailer, especially out here out east.
Mhm.
So I mean, like no one even
Yeah.
knew about it. I remember writing Arcade1Up online and being like, why can't I buy a Final Fight in Canada? They were the ones who had to tell me about London Drugs. Otherwise, I would have found out about it.
Yeah.
So it was a bit of a weird situation. Then we had to wait for Wave 3. Since then, things have been picking up. So I'll ask that question. Since Wave 3,
A little bit, but yeah.
I know. Since Wave 3, how do you feel Arcade1Up's selection here in the Great White North has become? Do we have better access to the products they have coming out? Are there still limitations? And if so, are they really that big of limitations? Like, are you disappointed we couldn't get the Couchcade?
Oh,
I know Conti,
definitely.
I know Conti, you actually have one.
Yeah.
I found one. I don't know.
I start with you, Carl. What about you? Have you found it easier to get these products or
Yeah,
about
it's
the
a-
same?
It's much easier, right? More retailers got into the market for Arcade1Up, and myself, a lot of my purchases were made up the brick. I know about the return policy, but at the same time, as we were having access to Gen 3, Arcade1Up is also changing their sort of like customer service approach. Now, previously it was 90 days, right? You didn't have a warranty, that was it. But now some people have been buying cabs secondhand, and you can still get great service, right? So they're going to be replacing the parts and all that. So I think the accessibility is actually much better now. I did have a lot of fun during wave 1 and 2-ish in 2020 when you could still buy parts from Arcade1Up's website, and I had fun with that. But now, okay, that's over. But at least they're replacing everything. So I mean, the reskins are difficult to get, right? The legacy reskins, it's hit and miss. And lately, I've purchased the Pong Countercade, and I had to go direct with Arcade1Up, and I just got my bill from FedEx for $100. You have to add that into the cost, and so in the end, there was a sale, but whenever there's a cab that we need and that we can only get through Arcade1Up direct, you absolutely need a sale. And then when you factor in everything else that we have to dish out to get the cab, you're not actually getting any sale at all, right? But the selection of cabs has really, really improved throughout the last year and a half, really. So
Yeah,
it's
so-
positive stuff.
Just to jump ahead a little bit, Mario, I see the big blue behind you. You actually got that from the charity sale a little while ago, right?
Yeah, and it's funny because when Big Blue came out, I was like, I'm gonna pass on it. There's no way I'm gonna grab it. And then when I saw that deal,
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit, that's actually a really good deal. And now since I have it, it's like my most played cab now. Like that and
nice.
MVC, that's
Yeah.
the two cabs I play the most.
So I'm guessing you're not upgrading to Shinku Hadoken or Yoga Flame. You're good with Big Blue as well.
No, I won't be getting a Yoga Flame. Like Shinku, maybe, but I'm happy with the Big Blue. I like it. I just wish more people would play Darkstalkers. Every time I try to find a match, I can't find a match. Even Puzzle Fighter, I've been finding matches here and there, but yeah, come on, where are all the Darkstalkers people at? Come on.
I've heard rumors that mainly it's C, that like on Big Blue, if you go on, everybody's just playing C.
Yeah,
That
Yeah.
seems to be where it's too.
That's my
It
experience.
is. That's correct. Yeah.
I'm
That's
just
right.
I'm at that point now where if I go on to play Street Fighter, everyone's too good, so I'm just watching Bobby Vu kick everyone's ass.
Yeah.
That's and I kind of feel that way too. I feel that if you're a casual player like me, like I love fighting games, but like I suck. I know I suck. So I go on there and someone absolutely destroys me, and I was like, all right, well, that's fine. I don't mind it. Iron forges iron, but I would like to play with some people of my own skill level. It'd be great if there was some
Yeah.
kind of friends list or way to connect people. Like, say we're friends, Mario, and instead of you having to write me over this, like there was some way that I could just get a notification when you're online so I could go play. That would be amazing, right?
Mhm.
You're not always going to be sitting next to your cabinet like in anticipation of playing. So something like
Yeah.
that would really help.
And Mike, you're referring to like the rooms in Xbox and the parties and other online games as well. And I completely agree with you because like the six of us here, we're pretty much almost the same skill level. Well, Mario is a little bit better, but and I know you play Mario, but
I'm pretty bad at fighting games.
right, Steve, we're evenly matched. You know, like Mike said, like I'm the same skill, right? Like I love them, but I'm not superbly good at them. And what's really frustrating is you go there and you get your ass kicked, right? You lose 10-1 and you don't want to play anymore. And then something else that you'd rather play other than CE, well, guess what? Nobody's playing, right? Such as the puzzle fighter, such as Knights of the Round, whatever, right? So yeah, I wish they had lobbies and rooms and a better way for people to connect.
So really quickly, I meant to do this. Best laid plans. I always screw this up because I never write notes or anything. Very professional show I'm running here. But JJ brought up a really good point. I wanted to start off and ask where everybody's from. So let's go around the room, introduce ourselves, and then just say where you're from and how long you've been enjoying like home arcade, Arcade1Up products. Start again, Carl. I've already introduced you, but go again.
Hey. All right. So this adventure started in December 2019 when I bought my Galaga cab, and it was a special SKU that we got in Canada because customizer, matching stool, and I also had a light box. Anyway, I'm from Montreal, and I fell in love with Arcade1Up, and that's actually how I got interested in the wider arcade world, right? So kudos to Arcade1Up.
Yeah, people forget that sometimes. Like the real arcade people, they're like, "Oh, poo-poo," but they don't understand this could be a gateway, and it's a great way to bring back interest in a nearly, dead hobby for most extensive purposes. So, bringing new eyes to it and bringing new people into it, just appreciate that. Conti, you're next up, buddy.
Yes, my name is Conti Dinda, and I live in Oakville, Ontario, which is about half an hour out of Toronto. I started in the hobby, I guess it was the fall of 2018 when the pre-orders went up for Centipede and Asteroids and all those things. I put in a pre-order for Centipede. That was where I started. I ended up not keeping that, but I did end up getting a Pac-Man on sale, and that was where the whole sale thing started. There was a Walmart in Hamilton that had them on sale for a couple $100 off. So I ran out there and I traded it in for the Centipede, and the whole insanity of chasing deals and chasing cabinets started then. So.
And Atul, my man, coming to Chicago. What about you?
Man. Okay, so my name is Atul Shiroseva. I'm from Mississauga, Ontario. So right next to where Conti's from, and about 15 to 20 minutes outside of Toronto. My first Arcade1Up official pre-order was TMNT back when they were available in Canada, I believe October 2020. But like you guys, I was eyeing them, and I initially wanted Street Fighter. Thought, I didn't have space for one arcade, but that week that I pre-ordered the TMNT, I ended up pre-ordering 3 more, and and that first week, or whatever, 2020, I had 5 right down the hallway here. So. Wow. Yeah, and all the original Gen 1s. So it was a good gateway, like you said. I went into some other, I guess what you would call them, cabinet kits, to do it Y stuff. So that kind of stuff. And then now I'm trying to get into the real arcade things, but still sticking with the Arcade1Up.
How's your Mortal Kombat project going?
CRT issues.
It was always going. It was almost done yesterday. I can kind of show you. It's dead there. Everything works except for the CRT. It's not getting any power. So I've been watching some videos. What you have to do is you have to pull the CRT out and then take apart the PCB like a computer and then look at it. And that's going to wait till I'm back from Chicago. Nobody's taking apart anything right now. So yeah.
If you've never watched John's Arcade channel before,
I
John's
have.
Arcade, there's a there's a 38-part mini series about him trying to fix his Mortal Kombat 2. So
Yep.
good luck, sir.
I've seen every single one of them, and this past long weekend, as you guys know, I was watching them very religiously to connect even the minute details, like the coin door lights. Okay, you have to know how the whole power circuitry works. You have to know if a wire isn't being connected, why it isn't being connected. Even my game PCB, it's getting a CMOS error, and me and Conti were joking about something else, about a similar issue. And when you get that error, you switch the watch battery, the battery that you buy from Walmart, right? But you have to know that. If you don't know that, and that's why I said, like, guys, these Arcade1Ups, they're a blessing. Like,
So easy.
Yeah.
It's so easy. And you know what? If the PCB fails and your warranty runs out, guess what? You can connect a PC to it. Can I say that? Right
Yeah,
now?
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just the Super
I
Game Room dudes will make fun of me because apparently I get upset by mods. So we'll see.
but even if you don't mod it, then I've, knock on wood, I've never had an Arcade1Up issue yet.
Yeah.
But I'm hearing great. Right? You guys got your Tron sticks back. Mine didn't break. Some people have guns not working, so they're okay. But yeah, it's so much easier. But thanks, Mike.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing too that's nice about 1UP is when I'm moving cabinets around, I could literally just pick both of them up with two hands, lift them over my head
I can
without
do
any
this with
issue.
one hand.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, certainly
When you want
makes-
to rearrange, it's easy.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
easy.
I've rearranged it 1,000 times.
Yeah, it's a disease, right? And then how many cabs can you fit in there? So,
That's
anyway,
exactly
go ahead.
like, even right now, I got two partycades behind me, and I'm trying to see what would happen if Time Crisis comes out. We'll see. Well, because ideally, I would like to put Time Crisis beside Terminator 2. That's the best scenario, but that's not.
It'll be coming out. It's on the GameFly leaks. They haven't been wrong yet. It's just a matter of when it's coming out.
Yeah, we'll see. But then something else better will come out, right? Like Mike's video yesterday, right? Like, everybody wants the Shinko Hadouken. It has the new PCB. It has the more RAM. It has the great games. But what happens next year then? The Pro Gen 1 comes out. Then the Pro Gen 2 with 50 games and Super
and
RAM.
You also always have that fear that, you know what, Big Blue is kind of replaced with excitement for Shinku Hadouken. What's Shinku Hadouken going to be replaced by even in the 3/4 scale next year when the next Legacy comes out? Because maybe they expand the games list and they move away and they start adding some other Street Fighter styled games that we've been waiting for with it.
Alpha
And I
3.
think people would be pretty excited about that.
Steve actually made a great video last year about the Legacy editions, about, like, where do you draw the line, right? When do you stop?
Yeah,
When do
I
you
mean,
stop?
we basically know that Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, like, all those are going to get redone every year because they're like the main titles that everybody knows, and that's what sells the best.
Yeah.
So it kind of gets to the point where when you buy one of those cabinets, you kind of have to decide if that's going to be the cabinet you're going to stick with, or at least stick with for like a few years and then maybe wait, because every year there's going to be another version of that, maybe just with a different game list, Wi-Fi, So you kind of have to just decide, like, which one am I going to stick this out with?
Yeah. Just 1 second, guys. Mario, if you want to go ahead and tell people about yourself, introduce yourself.
All right. Well, I'm Mario Reno. I'm from Grand Prairie, Alberta. I started getting into the hobby of Arcade1Up when I saw an article on IGN that these 3/4 scales arcades were coming out. And I was just like, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, that's pretty sweet. Street Fighter, Pac-Man. I was like, always wanted to build a home arcade. And then when I saw those, I was like, oh, they're coming at Walmart. I'm going to have to keep an eye on them. So I'd go to Walmart like almost weekly just to see them. And then the one day I went there, they had Rampage, Galaga, Street Fighter, Pac-Man. And I was like, oh, damn. I was like, FOMO got me, and I was like, okay, Street Fighter's coming home with me. And then literally like 2 weeks later, the cabs went on sale. They're like $100 off, and I was like, damn. I was like, I knew I should have waited. And then like they had Pac-Man on sale, but I missed the Black Friday sale. But they still had the sign up that was like $100 off, so I like brought it there, and it scanned in at $3.99. And I said to the guy, like, oh no, it's actually $2.99. He looked, and he's like, oh damn it. So he had to give it to me for the price. So yeah, those are my first two, and then it snowballed after that. Like after I got an Asteroids cab, and I turned it into my X-Men one because I couldn't wait for 1UP to do it. And then when Wave 2 came out with MK, I was like, I have to get MK. Like, I love MK. So especially MK2. And then I remember I was like calling around. Nobody had it. Called London Drugs. I actually went to the store, and they're like, oh yeah, we actually have one coming in tonight. And I was like, oh. And he's like, yeah, we actually have just one coming in. I was like, I'll buy it right now. So then like I bought it right then and there, and they're like, oh, we'll call you when it comes in. So I'm like waiting, like 3-4 hours go by. It's like 8:00 at night. The store closed at 9. I was like, what the hell? Like they still haven't called me. So then I call them. I was like, hey, I purchased a Mortal Kombat arcade earlier, and I was supposed to get called. Oh, they're like, oh yeah, I came in like at 5:00. I was like, oh, thanks for calling me. So I just drove right down there, picked it up, set it up right away, and then literally like a month later, that's when I got the limited edition Marvel Superheroes, and then TMNT, Star Wars. Like I got like 5 1-ups within like 2 months, and everything just snowballed after that.
Yeah,
that's how it happens.
Yeah.
So Mario, when you got your special edition Marvel, did you get that from the Brick, or did you get that from direct from 1UP?
No, actually, there was a guy in one of the groups. He's actually Canadian. He lives in the States. Shout out to Wayne Moore. He helped me.
Oh yeah, Wayne.
He actually got my Asteroids cab. He ended up getting it for like $75, and he's like, "Hey, I'm not using this. Do you want to buy it?" So he gave it to me for that deal, shipped it to me. So that's how I used my mod. And then the Marvel Superheroes one, he was kind enough to send it to me. So I think I ended up having that cab like about 4 or 5 months before it came to Canada. So I was probably the first one of the first people to get it. So I can't thank him enough for doing that. Super nice guy.
Yeah.
All right. Before we get to you, Steve, I got to do very quickly. Tyler Fisher, $9.99 super chat. XL question. You've gone back and forth with XL. First you said sports only. Last night you said Turtles, Street Fighter, T2. Did you get more info on XL or what? Yes. This year was sports only. In the future, anything's possible. So, and I don't know if you're allowed to say that. That's an iArcade comment. You're not allowed to say that with 1UP, from what I understand. So, going forward, it looks like everything we're hearing, 2023, 2024, that period is going to be the year of the bigger cabs, XL and Pro. So expect to see a lot of stuff coming out. It's not just going to be sports titles. From what we hear, sports titles was the focus this year. More coming out in the very near future. And I still think that Time Crisis is not going to be a 3/4 scale cab. I think it's going to be a XL. No, that's my guess.
I think so too.
Yeah, that's $799 US price point. It's got to be XL.
That would also be better as far as the screen's concerned too, right? Bigger screen for a shooting cab. That's what you want to see.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, bigger. It also needs to be better, right? So
see
how that goes.
I've heard a rumor that the
BOE
monitor might
be
be
back
coming.
forever.
Yeah.
Forever. Please.
All right. We've also got a $2 super chat from Kong Zaros. Send Game Room Theater an invite, fellow Canuck. I did send him an invite, so hopefully he gets it and he can join us. And then one more. I'm going to go on right here. $4.99. Everyone must look up Wretched Lizard Home Arcade Guitar Hero Cab 500-watt sound system. Thank you very much for the super chat, Peter Griffin. Electric drums. I don't think Arcade1Up's ever making a Guitar Hero arcade, so you might have to go off the rails.
Too many licenses to get music.
Yeah.
John D.
1UP Canucks.
Restock.
Yes.
Stand up outrun. Come on.
Maybe we should change
missed
the group chat to that name, 1UP Canucks.
1UP Canucks. Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
John,
I like that. Thanks, John.
John, while we're talking here really quickly, Mario over here has been patiently waiting for a Outrun stand-up cabinet to come to Canada, and unfortunately, he keeps waiting. I jumped on it as soon as it went on OneUp direct, and I paid a fortune. Like, it's a nightmare getting stuff directly from OneUp here, because you pay the going rate, which was $4.99 US, and then it's it was like $180 shipping at the time. So I was like, you know what, that's fine. But then you get that other bill from FedEx with the tax and the duty.
Oh, yeah.
So there was another $200. So by the time it was done, I think I paid close to $1,200 to get my stand-up Outrun. So while I have it, Mario, you might have made the right choice.
I mean, I had one ordered on Wayfair, and then they screwed me over and canceled my order the next day. So that hurt.
Yeah.
And I even ordered decals for the kick plate
Oh, no.
and the riser because I wanted authentic look. And then I was like, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah.
You can send me the decals.
The only thing Wayfair ever did that was amazing was earlier this year, the MK2 Legacy for $200 Canadian. That was wow.
That was nuts. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I got
that was a
one.
great
So
deal.
like, best deal we ever had, I think. Pretty much.
So Stevie's Man Cave Arcade, you probably have the biggest presence here on YouTube. You want to tell some people about yourself, where you're to, and what your history with OneUp is?
Yeah, so Steve Victoria is my actual name. I'm from the Ontario region, and I discovered OneUp kind of late 2018. I saw the Pac-Man and the Street Fighter Gen 1 cabs on my Walmart. So every time I went to Walmart, I would kind of play around with the Street Fighter one because they had it there on display. And I basically knew I was going to buy it at some point, but I was just kind of, kind of holding off, maybe seeing if it went down in price. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think it was being sold for $4.99, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So as it kind of went into 2019, I saw that they were coming out with the Mortal Kombat 2 cabinet, but it wasn't available here in Canada at that time. So I ended up actually going to the States to pick that up. So that was my first Arcade1Up cabinet, was the Mortal Kombat 2 cabinet, the one without the riser. I ended up going to Fort Drum, which is about 45 minutes away from where I live. And, ended up paying a little bit more than $4.99 for that Arcade1Up cabinet. But, it was worth it for me because that was the one that really kind of like tugged on my nostalgia heartstrings. And then about 2 weeks later, I bought the Street Fighter and the Pac-Man at my local Walmart. So within about a month and a half, I ended up having 3 Arcade1Up cabinets. And then from there was I started collecting really, really quick.
You can't stop at one.
Hey?
You can't stop at one.
No, you can't.
It's impossible.
It's so addicting. And I think after that, I ended up getting an Asteroids cabinet off of Amazon that I ended up modifying with the Pandora's box. And I'm not really a big mod guy, but at that time, I was convincing myself that those were going to be my 4 cabinets and that was going to be it. And that Pandora's box was going to kind of be like my filler cab to kind of give me the games that, obviously Arcade1Up didn't come out with at that time. And then maybe if there was a cabinet that I really, really wanted, I'll buy it. Well, the problem is Arcade1Up started coming out with a bunch of cabs that I really, really wanted. So then next thing you know, I ended up with 5 cabs because I bought Star Wars. And then I bought Turtles and then Final Fight. And I was just off to the races after that. So, and then that's why I ended up starting a YouTube channel, was because, I fell in love with Arcade1Up and collecting these cabinets. And I was watching, everyone's YouTube videos. And as I was doing that, I was kind of looking at my collection. I'm like, I got a lot of these cabinets that they're also talking about. So I'm like, you know what, maybe I'll start a little channel and kind of, show off my collection. And my YouTube channel is definitely not that polished. It's not even close to being a polished YouTube channel, but I just really enjoy talking Arcade1Up and collecting these cabinets. And I'm telling myself that I only have one more spot. So I'm trying to decide right now what that last spot's going to go to. But I have to sell my Frogger cabinet first, and we'll see what happens from there. I'm really trying to convince myself that that's going to be it, but you never know. You know how it goes.
I've been saying that for the last year that I was done, and I'm still.
I've been saying it for a while too.
After I got when Turtles came out, I was like, that's it. I don't need any more. I got my modded cab. I got X-Men, Simpsons. I don't need anything.
Yeah.
And then it's like, then they came out with NBA Jam, and I was like, oh man, NBA Jam Online.
And
I was like, holy crap. And then me and Mike actually had a game of NBA Jam, and it like went right down to the wire, which was pretty fun. A couple half-court shots at the end of the quarters, so it was pretty fun. But yeah, like it's hard to say no. Like if I'm adding anything, I'll get rid of something before I add something.
Yeah.
See, what you guys need to do is what I just did. You get an overflow room, then you don't need to lose anything.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm getting this cottage built, and I'm moving some cabs to the cottage. That is my plan because, I mean, next year they're going to be releasing XLs, right? So what am I? I'm going to be selling some cabs, buying some more. Sometimes like Mario, I'm on the edge. I'm like, oh, I think I'm done. And initially, I thought I would get 2, right? And I'm way over 10 now. I think I got 15 or something now. So anyway,
I'm not going to share my number. So anyways,
I
actually remember when Golden Tee came out, and like I played Golden Tee like at local bars here, and I remember they had one on display at London Drugs, and I was playing it, and I literally played like 3 holes, and I was like, I'm definitely going to buy this. So then I waited till a sale and bought that thing, and I literally played it every single day. Wake up in the morning, have a cup of coffee, play a couple rounds of golf. It was great. And then if people come over, Golden Tee is the first cab people jolt to. Or now with like I got Buck Hunter, people want to play Buck Hunter, but even Turtles, but like Golden Tee is the one everyone wants to play.
So really quick.
Oh, sorry,
I'm sorry. I just want to jump in here. Rights Retrocade, Oh Canada, hello, my fellow Canuckians. Several of you have been great for answering questions. Thanks very much. That goes out to all of us. So thank you very much, Rights Retrocade.
Yeah, I was just going to say, so one thing that I never really thought would happen, and Mario bringing up Golden Tee, like kind of just planted the seed in my head to kind of remind me. So when I first started collecting Arcade1Ups, I was collecting basically like off nostalgia. Like I was just getting cabinets that I had nostalgia for and games that I had nostalgia for. Golden Tee was one of the first cabinets that I bought where I didn't really have too much nostalgia for. I just kind of bought it because I was like, this is kind of cool. It's a different kind of control, something that I could see, when people come to my house, because I would host a lot of sporting events, something that, I could see getting a lot of play. And when I bought that cabinet, I really fell in love with it. And it didn't just become a cabinet that I was using to entertain. Like it was a cabinet that I was also playing a lot too. So that kind of changed things up for me a little bit, because then I was kind of like, like maybe there's some cabs out there that maybe I don't really have nostalgia for, but I'm sure if I tried the game, like maybe it would be a game that I would want to have in my collection as well. And maybe I should think about, maybe making room for that cabinet. NFL Blitz is the one that kind of comes to mind right now. Like I don't have a lot of nostalgia for NFL Blitz, but I've been seeing a lot of the gameplay, and I understand, they took the late hits out, and that's disappointing. But again, I don't have a lot of nostalgia for that game, so it's not really something that would really like be a big factor to me, because I'm not really going to notice that. But it just looked like a really fun game to play, and something that I'm debating on maybe bringing into my man cave arcade. So,
Carl, can you jump in really quickly and inform this person when the last time a Canadian team won the Stanley Cup is? I figured you'd be the best person to answer.
Bard.
The best team in history.
Yeah, exactly. 1993, man.
Les Habitants.
Yes, Montreal Canadiens. 1993. I remember. Yeah. And at that point, it was the second time, because I also remember 86, right? Because it's not
Patrick
like 20 something. Yeah. Oh yeah.
That last run really got me. I was just hoping we would win, and that just crushed me. I just felt so bad.
They're amazing games, man. Amazing game.
Now, technically, Calgary did beat Tampa Bay in 2004, I think it was. They did score a goal in Game 6 overtime that mysteriously never got counted. And you know what the heartbreaking thing about that is who scored the goal was Martin Jelena. And the funny thing about that was he came in on a like a deadline trade. He scored the winning goal in every series up until that Stanley Cup final, and he was the one who put in that goal in overtime. So he would have ended every single series with the overtime goal.
Wow.
But they just pretended it didn't happen. They were like, "Nah, Bettman says we can't agree to that one."
Just going back on what Steve was saying, like cabs we don't have nostalgia for. Like for me, Tron, like I was talking to you guys about it.
Yeah.
It's like I've seen Tron in arcades, like I'd play it, but I was never really good at it. And then once I saw they had this thing come out, I was like, damn, that is beautiful. And then the brick was like running low on stock. I'd check there every once in a while, like, oh, how many you have on stock? They'd be like 4. I'd go back like the next week later, we have 3. I'm like, okay, I'm buying one. Can't wait. But now that I have it, I love it. But the game's still hard as hell.
Yeah.
But I like, I love looking at it. Like, it's a fun game, but like, man, it's friggin' hard, man. Like, I could sit there for an hour playing it, and I can't even beat my high score. Like, it's.
What is your high score?
Oh, I don't even remember. 25,000 or something.
Oh, you're better than me.
Yeah.
The
Did
trick
we lose
is.
the duel?
Yeah,
Oh, we
I think
lost
so. Yeah. He's getting ready for Chicago. Right? He's really excited.
He's running back to Walmart.
But my trick, Mario, is you change the settings to make it way easier. You get to learn the really hard levels, and then you play back default.
I did that a few times. I can't do that. I got to play on the OG settings.
Yeah.
I'm too old school for that.
No, it's just to get better, right? Then afterwards, you go back to default, of course.
All right, so guys, I gotta kind of get us back on track a little bit. I've enjoyed the conversation, but Moat goes online at it's going to be 10 o'clock Eastern, 11:30 my time. So I don't want to overrun him, and I do have a couple of questions I want to ask specifically. So, how many of us here have ever ordered an arcade directly from Arcade1Up?
Just the Big Blue. That's it.
Yeah.
Steve, you've never?
I've never ordered one directly from them. I've ordered some from like Wayfair, which cost me an arm and a leg. That Miss Pac-Man without the light up J panel, because we didn't have that SKU here. It was just the one with the light up J panel, and I wasn't a fan of that. So that cost me an arm and a leg. I've ordered from eBay before. I ordered the Miss Pac-Man cocktail table, the wood grain one. That one cost me an arm and a leg. So I feel like I almost ordered from Arcade1Up, but I didn't.
So
you know, Cab, I would order off 1UP if they had it.
Stand up, outrun.
Stand up.
Really?
So
Hard
there's a specific reason I'm asking. Is one of the detriments, one of the drawbacks or barriers to ordering, is it the shipping? Like, if shipping was a little bit cheaper to us, is there a possibility that you'd be more enticed to order? Because you're still going to have duty and taxes by the time it gets here. So if there was some kind of discount on shipping, would that open up the way for us to do that? Because you got to remember, sometimes we're waiting forever. Like Dragon's Lair, for example. Dragon's Lair has been out in the US for 5 months now, and we're still waiting for it to show up at the brick. So, you always get that benefit. If you order directly from online, you'll get it here first. And I don't know if you guys remember, he doesn't collect Arcade1Up anymore, but Dreamcast Kyle actually did order the sit-down outrun, and he had that here in Canada before everybody because he ordered it direct.
Yeah.
So if they did, say, for example, like Unico has a $50 special Canadian shipping, iArcade does it as well.
For the gold,
Actually, they had it for everything. They had it on the tempered glass protector, too, for the iArcade.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
True.
So if Arcade1Up was able to figure something out, maybe eat some of the shipping on their end, is that something that you think would entice more Canadian consumers to buy direct from 1UP?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Honestly, if it was
I
free
think so.
shipping, like the
Especially-
States, we just pay the duties, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
Like,
Because the
Especially-
shipping is what kills us.
Yeah.
like, here's the thing, and I know John D's watching. Listen, we actually like your company. That's why we're fans, right?
Oh, yeah.
And we want to support you. Like, we go sometimes out of the way to support the brick, not because we like their return policies. It's because we like a certain person named Arlene Grohr, and we appreciate her efforts and in the things that they're trying to do for us, right? Even I won't go into Dragon's Lair or whatever is happening with that, but because they're making such an effort, Like if
Yeah.
I had the space and I'm desperately trying to make the space, I would get it just to support the brick and the company. So
Yep.
my 2 cents, Mike, is that if 1UP was to offer free shipping and just add the taxes and it's the same price as Best Buy or the brick, just to support them and encourage that behavior, I would order it from them. Yeah.
I don't think they'd be able to do free shipping. I know
The
that.
$50, the $50 is good.
Yeah.
I'd be all in, especially due to the fact that when I ordered directly from Arcade1Up and I did it twice, the shipping was really fast. I mean, it's not like
Yeah.
it took like a month, right?
It was.
The next day, the label was created. Day after, was shipped. Got it within 3 days. Okay, mind you, I'm in Montreal. I know Michael, but still, that it was a positive experience. I'm like, throw in the $50, like the IR Arcade Gold and Unico. I'm all in, especially for the SKUs that we can't get through retailers.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, even the countercades, like if you want to buy a
Yeah.
countercade, the shipping costs just as much as the countercade. So
Yeah.
it's like
it
you might as well
does.
buy a full size 1UP for that price.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. And that's another thing is that, like, I get it, business reasons, commercial partnerships and all of that, but Canadians should have access to some of the more limited SKUs, right? Like, come on, let's air our frustrations out. Like, where's the Shinku Hadoukens? Where's the Dragon
Yeah.
Lair? Where's
Yeah.
the Defender Partycade that I have? And I had
Although,
to go
Atul,
through-
you shouldn't complain because you can get them if you want to. I mean, you and I both
I had
have
to go
access
through
it.
hell to
No,
get
but you could
that
have ordered it through
Partycade.
Shipsy, right? And you could
Right.
have it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Toronto, GTA, you guys are lucky.
Yeah, we're lucky. I know.
So, Rights Retrocade is suggesting $279 super chat. Thank you very much. Arcade1Up store in TO, free shipping from there. Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the Miami store.
That'd be awesome.
And I would go there and pick up those arcades. I would be a pretty good
Yeah, yeah.
customer, and I think a lot of us here would actually just drive there and get it. What is this?
So, guys, after this, if you're not doing anything, please go check out Moat's show.
Yeah.
John D's going to be on, and he's going to take a gummy beforehand, so ask him anything. I don't know if you saw the episode of The Simpsons where Homer goes into the office and asks Mr. Byrne for money for his pet, and he's like, I don't know if he's on I can't remember what it was or something, but if you want to ask Mr. Burns for something, now's the time. And Hans Molman comes in and goes, I'd like a mop bucket. And he goes, oh, a leprechaun. I'm going to drill into your brain. So it'll be kind of like that. Go check out Moat.
Yeah.
All right, I'm getting off track. So the $50 Canadian shipping, if they could do it, I think it'll be a boon for them as well, because it would have been nice if we could have had Gabriel Gray on, because Gabriel has this distributor he keeps throwing in our face.
Yeah, yeah.
His cheap cabs. So I don't know what the dollar value is Arcade1Up actually gets from each retailer, but I have to think that they would be better off selling direct to us, eating some of the shipping compared to sending the cabs out to get them sold through another retailer. So I think there is money in it for them from a business sense. I think this is something they could do. So I hope it's something that can happen.
Get loud.
Yeah, that would
Get
be
loud.
At the same time, we're also very blessed because we do have the brick and we do have Arlene, and Atul, you knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, she is so active, like on the Arcade1Up Facebook groups, just coming and checking in with us, seeing what product we need. And unfortunately, we got a little bit of bad news earlier today because I have been pressuring her, and I'm sure a lot of other people did. I think, Mario, you reached out to her as well. Maybe.
Yeah, I had asked her.
Yeah, Shinko Hadouken, and I had asked her also about the Defender Partycade, and she came back with a strong no on those today. So, unfortunately, my video last night, well, maybe I'll get the Shinko Hadouken. Looks like it's not happening now for sure. So, yeah. And you talked about it, Carl, a little bit earlier. We do have a hard time when there are variants. They don't seem to come here. Like last year's Legacy variants, we didn't get them.
And that Dig Dug variant is awesome. I love it.
Yeah,
It's beautiful.
Yeah, that is a beautiful cabinet.
For us Stranger Things fans, we need a Dig Dug.
Yeah,
right. Right. just to build that arcade, right? So,
and some people, you know, because of the reskins, they would actually buy the cab like twice. You know, they would buy one version of the Legacy
for
and
sure.
buy the same version again.
Defender
the
Par-
unicorn. Yeah.
It is a unicorn, John, and you know what would make it very
John.
accessible? If you did. Oh,
Yeah, but it's all you went through hell to get that. We
Yes,
want an
I did.
easier
Yeah.
way to,
yeah.
Yes,
So-
I did. But go on. Mike.
The Defender Partycade, everybody loves it. And everybody wants it. In a 3/4 scale or larger,
Yep.
remake the Defender Partycade,
Yep.
make that a dedicated cab with the right Defender controls and those awesome other games that you've got in there.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I know Sinistar's on there. Is Gorf on there as well?
Gorf is on
Yeah.
here. Yep.
We got to get Gorfed. Come on, John D. Gorf us.
And guess what, Mike? They do now have the 49-way joystick.
I
So
know.
think
Yeah,
about that.
with NFL,
Sinistar.
Sinistar with 49
alone
now.
with the 49-way joystick. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Conti would know this. The 49-way joystick, you could use that with Ikari Warriors too, right? Ikari Warriors and a couple of other things. Or Carl? Like anybody. Like
For Ikari Warriors, you need to have it's the stick with the
it's like a I'm not gonna do the motion. Like it's a special stick.
yeah. Don't do the motion.
Yeah, I'm not doing the motion. Not on YouTube.
Free Defender XL with 49-way. I agree.
There you go.
So, what other games use the 49? I always get confused. Bubble uses a optical joystick. So, does Bubbles use a
Rico.
49-way joystick?
I don't know.
Don't know.
Somebody
sure.
want to do a quick Google?
Who plays Bubbles?
Everybody plays
Bubbles.
Bubbles is
I
all
love
right,
Bubbles.
man. Bubbles is not bad. It's not bad. It's okay.
So, I don't know if you guys have been following me a long time on like social media, Instagram and stuff. A while ago, I went to this guy's basement and he had a bunch of real arcades there. And I mean, like these things look like shit. So I was a little bit nervous with picking anything up. He offered to sell me a Bubbles cab that he had there for $200. And I was like, there's no way that works. So funny story. The guy I went and played pinball with last week, he actually was the guy who went and bought it. It was working, just restored it a little bit. He ended up selling it to another guy with an arcade out in Clarenville. I went out to the guy's arcade in Clarenville because I sold him some of my one-ups that he put in his arcade. He showed me the bubble cab. Now this is how it traveled. It was sold for $200 from the very first operator to the guy with the Godzilla pin, who sold it for $800 to the guy at the arcade.
There you go.
Who then
Wow.
sold the Bubbles cab for $4,000 to somebody out in Vancouver.
There you go.
And I could have had it for $200.
Oh man.
There's missed opportunities everywhere. Mike,
Oh.
I'm pretty sure P-Dubs has shown you his pinball that he has. And I don't know.
Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah,
Gottlieb,
so I don't know if Carl or Canty remember. I don't think we knew Steve back then. But that pinball was sale in Toronto for $400. And
Oh, really?
yeah, and I was thinking about it, and Canty, I think Conti, you were about to bid on it or something, and it got sold out within like 20 minutes or something. Like some guy didn't know what he had, and $400. I very vividly remember it, and then we Googled the price, and apparently it was working and everything. Like it was, you know.
I made that mistake like years ago. I went to a pawn shop here, and they had like a Donkey Kong Jr. like cocktail or tabletop arcade, and they were only selling it for like $300. Like it was dinged up and stuff. Like I could have fixed it up.
Yep.
But looking back now, I was like, you should have just spent the $300. Like it was just such a cool piece, right? And like stuff you never see very often.
Hey man, if you have the space, you know. Some of us here have space issues. But yeah.
So I do have another thing I wanted to ask you guys about, and it's probably one of the touchiest subjects. So obviously, Arcade1Up's an American company; they deal in American dollars.
Yeah.
We're in Canada; our dollar's not quite worth as much anymore. So, with the increasing price in the U.S. of the Arcade1Up products over the last couple of years, have you guys found it different when buying? Like when they first came out, and especially right around that Wave 3 when they had that $5.99 price point, I felt that was a really good sweet spot. But you know, since last year where they had to raise the prices, has that changed your view on the cabinets at all? Where I mean, it's so much higher here in Canada. Like even Killer Instinct, for example, was like $849 when it first came out. Like was that a kind of a point that kind of pushed you back a little bit from maybe the excitement you had about picking up all these cabinets?
Oh,
Yeah,
for sure.
definitely.
Like
Yeah.
just when the prices go up, the excitement kind of wears out, right? Because you see a cab get released and you're like, oh, I want that. Then you see the price and you're like, maybe I'll wait, you know?
Yeah.
Like you said, the 600 was the sweet spot. Like when Turtles and Star Wars came out, that was like perfect, right? Even NBA Jam, I think I paid like $579 for that at the Brick. And I thought that was a really good price. But since then, I think the only thing I've really paid more than that was when MVC came out. And you guys know me, I was having a fit when MVC kept getting delayed here. I was just dying for that cab to come. But I knew I wanted that day one. Like I was like, Marvel vs. Capcom is one of my favorite fighting games.
Yeah.
I was like, I have to have that cab no matter what. I don't care.
I remember at the time I had been told that we weren't getting Marvel vs. Capcom here in Canada. Like it just wasn't happening. And I kept telling you, I was like,
And I
I'm
remember
really sorry,
I had
Mario.
asked John D on
Yeah.
the page, and he's like, yeah, it's coming to Best Buy Canada. And then you're like, no, it's not. I was like, I got proof. He said it.
We ended up getting it, and I think they overstocked the demand a little bit because it ended up going on sale right towards the end before they got rid of the
Initially,
last
it
ones.
sold pretty quickly. Like
Crazy.
I think it sold out like within the first week it was out. So, and I expect MVC2 is gonna sell out day one when the pre-orders go out.
Are you going to be pre-ordering Marvel vs. Capcom 2?
Yeah, for sure.
Is
I have
anybody
to.
here picking it up? Mario, Atul?
I'm not gonna be picking that one.
I'm 50-50. You know my situation. I'm trying to decide if I'm going that route or if I'm going NBA Jam or NFL Blitz as well. I kind of got those three choices that I'm going back and forth on.
You guys
Gotta
need
get
to
both.
get rid of your. You need to get rid of your pool table. Like we can only say this so many times.
Yeah.
To you.
Throw in Frogger too.
I mean, well, yeah,
and
like
Frogger.
Frogger's definitely going because I got the 16-1 cocktail table now. So with that cocktail table having the proper ROM with the proper song, I don't need the Arcade1Up one anymore. So Frogger's going to go. So something will end up in that spot. I mean, I'm keeping the pool table. But
Well,
Okay.
you know, better prices, obviously, you know, we all want that because lately it's been like, you know, with taxes, it's like $1,000. But the thing they got me because they're so good at licensing. You know, they're releasing all these cabs and I can't resist. There's nothing I can do about it, right? I find
In John
new
D. we
ways.
trust.
Yes. Well, you know, I find new ways to finance everything. So there you go.
Okay, so very quickly, we got about 7 minutes left. Have either you guys been interested so far in the XL cabs or the possibility of Pro, even with the big price point here in Canada? I mean, you're looking at $899 for an XL cab.
Yep.
Pro is going to be $999 US. So, I mean, geez, I don't even know what the price is converted over. What is that? $13.99 Canadian?
So
Yeah, 12 to 1300.
I'm definitely interested in the product.
Yeah.
I do want the product, and considering with the real full-size professional arcades, whatever you want to call them, they're money pits, right? Something goes wrong and you spend hundreds of dollars. Arcade1Up has a lot of advantages there, right? Like Mario said, all of it. Like even if it's taller, it's you know, it's movable wood, right? We'll probably be able to pick it up and move it as opposed to, you know, making holes in our doors and stuff like that. But we priced it out. And if these 3/4 cabs, and Mike and I bought T2 around the same time, and we paid the exact same price, and it was getting up there. And Carl, you recently got a little bit of a deal, so that's great, right? But what I'm saying, so if T2 costs $1,000, let's say, including taxes, that's without any shipping. These cabs are already going to cost $1,500. I'm predicting, and that's Gen 1, guys. That's Gen 1. As time goes, so in a couple years, when we have the Super XLs, such as the upcoming NFL Blitz, how much is that going to cost you? $2,200? Are we going to pay it? Are we getting into, you know?
I don't know, man.
I would say no at first,
out.
but I want to see more of the product. To
It's
see
good
if it's
product.
worth
You'll
the
pay
price.
it. So.
Mario, what if they
Yeah.
make a Street Fighter 3 Third Strike full Pro
Nah.
Edition?
Nah,
Pro
I'd rather
Edition.
have
25-inch
MK2.
LCD. Oh, you would rather, okay. yeah.
MK2
Yeah.
Pro? Mm.
Okay, MK2 Pro, same idea,
Yeah.
right? 25-inch LCD from Uniqlo, whatever, right? Super Pro. What would you pay for that? $19.99? Yeah, there you go. That guy said
We'll
it.
just wait and see.
That guy said.
He said it right there. $1,400 to $1,500, easy.
And there's the question of whether or not we're even going to get it here, because right now they're saying Pro is going to be direct only. So, we in our lean we trust. Hopefully the brick carries it, because it doesn't look like it's going to be a product that's normally at retail.
Yeah, and if the regular cabs are costing say $200 to $300 to get shipped, the pros are going to be double that.
Yeah.
So
For me, like I even though I do see the need for pros and XLs, like I do understand why people want bigger and something that is more close to resembling the original cabinet. I personally like the 3/4 scale just because I find that size really works good for a home setting, because like we were talking about earlier, Mario mentioned it, like you can move it around. You can fit quite a few, where obviously if you get like a pro cabinet or an XL, it's going to take up more space. So you're limited to how many cabinets you can have. So I personally like the 3/4. And obviously the prices are getting more higher with those. So for me, I think like that's going to be where I'm going to stop. But I do get the need, and I do get why people want pros and XLs. And I mean, if you really like a game and you really, fall in love with the way the cabinet looks, I could get why you would spend that kind of money to have something like that in your home.
He says this now, but I do predict Steve V will be the first person here to have an XL or Pro cab.
I mean, I can't lie. I almost pulled the trigger on the XL Golden Tee. I was really kind of like, because of the whole screen thing, I was kind of like trying to stay away from it. But I did try a demo cabinet at the Brick. And even though the screen definitely has its issues, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So it did interest me there for a little while, but then I started thinking about how big it was going to be in my space. And even though, now with the cabinets all kind of being different shapes and sizes, and, the uniformity is not so much of a thing anymore, like it used to be with like the original Arcade1Up cabs, but still with the XL Golden Tee being so much bigger than the rest of my cabinets, I don't know. I just felt like it was going to stick out like a sore thumb. So I ended up deciding that I was cool with the one that I have. And I'm hoping that Arcade1Up will come out with another 3/4 scale updated Golden Tee sometime in the future.
Yeah, man.
I don't know.
Yeah,
They will, Mike.
I mean,
they
it's
will.
it's a popular enough game that, and I feel like with the whole screen situation, it kind of affected the sales of this one. So I think, maybe they might decide to kind of give it a second life in a 3/4 scale cabinet at some point.
Your saving grace is what's on the menu for that Golden Tee 3D. When you look at it, it is listed. And I picked up on this, and I said it for a while. That's listed as a legacy cab. And we know legacy are an evergreen product. So
Exactly.
Golden Tee 3D was this year's model. Next year's model might be entirely different.
It could be. It could be. Like, I just have a feeling they're going to come out with another Golden Tee at some point. I don't know when. I am fine with my original Golden Tee right now. Like it still works great. I actually got another PCB just because I was missing some part when I was building my Golden Tee cabinet, and asked Arcade1Up for that part. And they ended up sending me a second PCB like randomly. So I had to message them again and be like, yeah, that's not necessarily what I wanted, but whatever, I'll keep this. So if my PCB ever goes down, at least I got another one. Yeah. But I would like to upgrade it if they do come out with a 3/4 scale at some point.
All right, so Conti, I got to go to you for this, because you have actually moved into the real arcade space. You've been picking up pinball tables recently. You've got quite a very impressive pinball collection there. And the reason why I wanted to bring that up is I am very interested right now in getting a pinball table. I'm working on it. I'm trying really hard. But there's an issue with uniformity in Arcade1Up. I don't know, like a tool, you've got it right now where you've got a real arcade in there. And I mean, sometimes these Arcade1Up cabinets look so small and so out of place next to like real arcade products.
They
so
do. Right
yeah,
there.
you can see it right there.
The Tron versus the Mortal Kombat, right?
Yeah.
So
the thing is, the new XL line seemed to fit more closely. Like I've sent a lot of pictures of, you know, basically the XL caps. Do you have a Golden T XL? Is that what you were just looking at?
I do.
Yeah. So do you find that that fits in more normally, maybe next to your pinball, real arcades, that stuff?
Yeah, it does. So what I did was I have the Buy Stuff store, the booster on the Outrun beside it. That does help a little bit.
Oh yeah,
because it gives you the same height as the Golden Tee, and so if you have those two beside the pinballs, it actually looks okay. So it's helping. It's helping with the look, but you know, it's not perfect. But at least it gives it the same height. And so if I get another booster for the Pac-Man on the end, you know, they'll all be the same height. It'll actually look okay. So that's, you know, the best you can do.
That's my biggest critique about those driving cabinets. They're just a little bit too short. They need to be a little bit taller for you to really comfortably stand in front of it. Like when I stand in front of it, I'm in this awkward hunch of trying to drive. I feel like I'm a really old person. You know what I mean? Hanging over the wheel.
We are old. We are.
Well, that's true too.
Those boosters are worth the money. It's it changes the game. It really feels like you're, you know, it's right there in front of you. So it's you know, for $80 or whatever they cost.
I got one on my big buck hunter, and it really made a difference. I mean, that cabinet was just, I mean, the screen was already small, but then to have it be as short as it was, like it just was very awkward. That booster from Buy Stuff Store really helped a lot.
Yeah. I bought a few too.
I would be shocked if we didn't get an XL buck hunter at some point. I mean, that's one that definitely needs to happen.
Yeah.
I can see that happen.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, we did go over the hour, and I don't want to keep people too long. I want to give people time to go over to Moat's channel, go talk to John D. They're getting ready for the big pre-order coming up for Marvel vs. Capcom 2, which is coming up on Thursday, the same day Atul, me and you are on our way to Chicago. So go over there, ask those guys some questions. Thanks for hanging out tonight, and you guys, thank you so much for being here. We should totally do this again. I really had a good time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for having me on.
It's awesome.
Totally.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, you guys don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. We're going to end the show, but here's the rule, unwritten rule. We always stay online just a little bit after we go offline. So
Cool.
No problem.
All right,
Sticking around.
see you, everybody.
See you
Later.